Today I'm joined by the lovely Janet from Swirly Girly Reads.
Hello, BookTube.
We are in Bath at the moment and we've been going on a bit of a book shopping spree. I had some vouchers for Christmas and so I've been spending those, and we've just been celebrating our shelf slam really. We've sort of allowed ourselves this weekend to just go and buy books and to just have a bit of a bookish weekend. We have bought a lot of books between us. I think approximately 20-ish each, and so we're going to split this into two book hauls, part one and part two. We're going to alternate, so we'll put part one up here and then Janet will put part two up on her channel. So in order to see all the books we've got, you'll need to go over to Janet's channel, which I will link down below the video. So let's go, shall we?
Yes.
Do you want to go first or shall I? You go.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape is the first one. Who writes that one? Eleanor. Peter Hedges. Purely a cover buy. This is a humorous tale of Gilbert Grape, who is a grocery store assistant. He's got lots and lots of siblings, an obese mother, and he's got an unrequited crush on another woman.
And that's literary fiction, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Lovely. My first one is What Sunny Saw in the Flames by Nnedi Okorafor. This is also known as A Cat a Witch, I think, in America, and this is I just really love this cover on this one. It's YA science fiction and fantasy. It's about a 12-year-old girl called Sunny. It says on the back that she's an albino and she makes some friends. She gets to visit this new realm with strange creatures, and they all have magical abilities, and I think she gets some sort of crash course, it says here, in magical history and spells. I think it's just going to be a bit of a rip-roaring adventure, and I know that Elizabeth from Books and Pieces has read this recently and really enjoyed it, so that was part of the reason why I picked it up.
I've got Nevernight by J. Christophe, and I think there's a second one to this out at the moment.
Yeah.
And this is about Mia, who says she's only 10 years old, she's got her first lesson in death, and she's destined to destroy empires, and it sounds like it's just a tale of revenge and death and vengeance, and I kind of like that thing.
Okay, so my next one is Rebel Genius by Michael Dante DiMartino. This is a fantasy. It's about set in a world where if you've got artistic abilities, you get a genius, which is like a bird-like creature, and there's really heavy penalties if you're caught with a genius that doesn't belong to you. And our main character realizes that they have a genius and then has to learn how to use it. I think it's going to be interesting. It's been on my TBR for ages, so I'm pleased I finally picked that one up.
My next one is The Hoarder by Jess Kidd. This is the new one. She had himself out last year, and this really drew me in. I mean, I do love the cover. And it's basically the story of Maud, who is a downtrodden worker in this stately home, and she's not treated very well. It seems like she's got some sort of psychic ability, so she's surrounded by the ghosts of the house that she can see and communicate with, and there's some dark secret hidden in the house, and I love anything that's got a stately
That sounds a bit
home.
ghosty. And...
yeah, a bit ghosty, a bit gothic.
Nice.
And she's called Maud.
Yeah, I do like the name Maud. The next one I picked up is The Extinction Trials by S.M. Wilson. This is a YA book. It says on the front, Hunger Games meets Jurassic Park. That sounds very interesting to me. It's set in a world where it sounds like you have to go through some sort of trials or like competition in order to survive. I love the idea of that. It says on the front, only the strongest will be chosen, only the reckless will survive. So I'm hoping this is going to give me vibes of sort of, not Shadow and Bone, Salt and Storm and Fire and Flood. Yeah, I hope it's going to be Hunger Games-ish, and I love Jurassic Park, so fingers crossed on that one.
Next I've got The Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan, and it looks like it's told from two perspectives. So we've got the wife, whose husband is a public figure, and she feels that he's just protecting her from scandal, but he seems to be accused of a crime, and then you get the tale from the barrister's point of view, who believes he's guilty, and so I think it's a bit of who's telling the truth. Dun, 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 dun. Next I've got Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Benn. I really love the cover of this one. This is a story set in Jamaica, and it's about two sisters. The eldest sister wants a better education for her sister, her younger sister, and that is then threatened by this hotel that's planning on setting up in their village. I believe it looks at sort of gender and females and how they're treated within this culture, and I just think it sounds really brilliant. The next one I've got is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, and this is somebody's going to die at the ball tonight, and apparently the story is told through 7 different endings, and obviously Evelyn is a murder victim, and you see 7 different potential solutions to Evelyn dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's got time travel, someone said.
Maybe it has. Yeah, because it seems to
The
you
woman in the
repeat
shop
the
was
day. Yeah.
saying that it was a time travel thriller.
The day will repeat itself over and over again, every time ending with a fateful pistol shot. The only way to break the cycle is to identify her killer, but each time the day begins again, Aidan works in the body of a different guest, and someone is desperate to stop him ever escaping Blackheath.
That sounds interesting, actually. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what you think about.
Does indeed.
Oh.
It's a bit like Cluedo.
Yeah, and the map in it, did you show the map? The map on the front of the house, I just thought was really beautiful.
This is the inside. It is a map of the house, and obviously true book lovers love a map.
We do. If I see a map, I generally want to buy it.
But it is. It's like a Cluedo board.
It is. I think that sounds good. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Next one I've got to show is one that Janet's already got, and that is From Here to Eternity by Caitlin Doherty. I loved Caitlin's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. I thought that was brilliant. This one seems to be... she's looking at different cultures and how they deal with death. It says in the inside, in rural Indonesia, she observes a man clean and dress his grandfather's mummified body. She goes to Bolivia. So she's, I think, you know, what I really like about Caitlin is she's got a really good sense of humour when it comes to talking about these things, and so it makes it much easier to digest and a fun read, even though you're covering topics which are quite, well, could be quite morbid and hard-hitting. So I'm really excited about this. I gobbled up her last one, so fingers crossed this is as good.
Next I've got The Queen of Bloody Everything by Joanna Nadine, or Nadine, I don't know how you say it. But basically I was drawn in because it says on the front cover, have you ever wished for a different mother? And it seems to be a child whose mother is not quite right. We don't know how she's not quite right yet, and she wants a normal family life, and she meets a family of one of her friends and seems to infiltrate that family who seem to be normal. And it all goes from there, really.
Sounds good. Next one I'm going to show for both of us because we've both got this one. We decided to bring our books that we bought each other for the end of February for our free parking on Bookopoly. We bought them with us because we'd both sent each other already. We normally send them at the beginning of the month. The other one keeps them in there wrapping until it's time to open it, and then we open it. But we thought, well, seeing as we're going to be buying some books this weekend, let's bring them so we don't buy the book again that we bought each other. And yeah, we ended up buying each other the same book. So we've got The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gower, and I've just heard nothing but good things about this.
Yeah, but you're not sure if you're going to like it.
I'm not sure now because I keep hearing from the booksellers that we've been speaking to this weekend who read similar things to me, that they haven't enjoyed it and that it's not very plot heavy, which we all know I like a good plot. But I'm prepared to give it a go. I've also got this on Audible myself, so I can always listen to it on that. I sometimes find if I'm struggling with a book in terms of its pacing and plot, that if I listen to it on audio I find it better. But I don't know much about this one. It seems to be set 1785, about a merchant, and there's a ship. Oh, he's sold Jonah's ship for what appears to be a mermaid. Yeah, so I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a pretty cover.
It has. So let's hope we both like it.
Next I've got I Am by Maggie O'Farrell, and this is non-fiction, and it's about Maggie O'Farrell's 7 Brushes with Death.
And it's shortlisted for the Man Book, for the Wellcome Trust Book Prize.
I've seen this for ages, and I like Maggie O'Farrell. I read The Vanishing of Esme Lennox quite a few years back, and I absolutely loved it. So I was intrigued because apparently she really has had 17 brushes with death.
Interesting.
It's got a nice picture of a heart.
17 or 7?
17?
17?
17 brushes with death.
Blimey.
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. It's her memoir of the near-death experiences that punctuated her life, the childhood illness she was not expected to survive, a teenage yearning to escape that nearly ended in disaster, a terrifying encounter on a remote path, a mismanaged labour in an understaffed hospital.
interesting. I look forward to hearing about that one. I picked up The Childfinder by Renee Denfield. I wasn't, I liked, but I didn't love her other book, which is The Enchanted, which was set in a prison. I don't know if you ever read that. It had a horse on the front. I was okay with that. I didn't hate it. I quite enjoyed it. But the premise of this just sounds really interesting to me. It's about a missing child. We've got our police officer who well, I don't think she's a police officer actually. I think she's like an investigator, and she finds missing children. So when the police give up their search and investigation, the families often then call her to try and help them. And it's through sort of years of experience and intuitiveness and things that she often succeeds where police and other people have failed. And she's called about this child that's been missing when they've been in the forests in Oregon, and so I believe it's going to be following her. Look into that. I don't know. I think it's sort of a thriller mystery, so I'm looking forward to this. It piques my interest.
Next I've got Sugar Money by Jane Harris. I think this has just come out, hasn't it? Look at this. Look at this shiny.
It makes me think of The Great Gatsby on the front.
Yeah.
Like that sort of
The
gold
Great Gatsby
foil.
put me off though. Oh no, I did eventually like The Great Gatsby. But it's got not one, but 2 maps.
2?
Yeah. And these are the Antilles apparently. In the Caribbean. I think they're in the Caribbean. And it's based on, it says here, based on a little known true story. And it's set in Martinique, and there's 2 brothers. They are charged by their French master with a mission. They've got to return to Grenada, the island they once called home, and they've got to smuggle back the 42 slaves claimed by English invaders. And one of the boys, apparently the love of his life, must be one of these slaves.
Oh. It's set on a boat. You probably like it.
It's got island, anything on an island. I love books set on islands.
I'll wait and hear what you think of it.
I don't know what have you got against a boat?
I don't know. I'm not good on boats. The next one I've picked up is The Disappearances by Emily Bain Murphy. I just love the cover of this. It's got this sort of stitching. It's like it's all cross-stitched or embroidered, and it's one of those like buttery soft covers. This is about, I think it's magical realism. It's every 7 years something in this town disappears, so it could be people's reflections or the stars or ability to dream, and our young protagonist realizes that her mother might be to blame for this curse, and so she's going to try and uncover the truth behind this curse and what's happened. And I just think this sounds really good, so fingers crossed it's a good magical realism.
Next I have got The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, and it's a novel, but it's based on the true story of Lale Sokolov. I've probably said that completely wrong, but he was a Slovakian Jew who did all the tattoos on the forearms of all the Jews in the concentration camps. But what he did do was he used his privileged position to barter and to smuggle people to safety, and saved thousands of lives.
Wow.
So it's based on a really good true story, so I'm very keen to read that one.
I think that's going to be a tearjerker.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. And it's got a picture of the Auschwitz camp on the front.
So I'm just going to talk to you very briefly about some graphic novels I picked up. I won't tell you anything about this because I think you'll all know by now, but I picked up volume 8 of Saga because I didn't have it. And then I picked up Roller Girl by Victoria Jameson because I've just read her All's Fair in middle school, which is in my Contemporary-a-thon vlog. I read that for Contemporary-a-thon, and I loved it so much that I wanted to pick up one of her other books. I really enjoy the artwork in here. It's quite simple and bold, and I like the idea of this story. It's about a young girl. Her and her best friend, it's the summer, she decides she wants to go off to like roller derby camp, and her friend decides to go to ballet camp. They go different directions, they learn different things, they learn different things about each other and who they want to be, and I just think it sounds like a really great coming of age story. And then the last one was a bit of a whim purchase, and it's called Misfit City. It's volume 1, and this is Smith, Lusgarten, Franquist and Peer. And again, I liked the artwork in here. And this is, the back of this just sounds hilarious. It says, batten down the hatches. Smothered by her Blackwater hometown and frustrated by its 1980s cult movie fame, The Gloomies Have you ever seen it? It's a real classic, you know. Wilder is pretty sure she's seen everything Cannon Cove has to offer. She's desperate to get away from home as soon as she can and move to bigger and better and less annoying things, even if that might mean leaving her best friends behind. But when Wilder discovers a centuries-old pirate map, she finds out that real adventure was in the tiny town all along, and they need each other to get to the bottom of it. It's a rip-roaring adventure written by award-winning screenwriter Kiwi Smith, 10 Things I Hate About You and Legally Blonde. I love both of those films, and Kurt Lustgarten, and illustrated by Naomi Franquez. I just think this sounds really fun, and as I say, I love those films, so I'm hoping it's going to have a similar feel to it.
And if you like that, that'll
lovely
probably go on the wish list.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Right, and then what's your last one for this part of the
My
haul?
last one is completely because the bookseller recommended it, because I would never have picked it up because I find the cover horrendous. I hate covers that have got pictures on them, and it's called My Absolute Darling by, I can't even see the author's name because it's got a sticker over the front. Who wrote this, Eleanor?
There.
Gabriel Talent. You've read it and don't like it.
I didn't even read the whole thing, I DNF'd it. But a lot of people
But
really
the
enjoy it.
bookseller loved it, and so we thought we'd trust him, and it seems alright for me. The main character's called Turtle. She knows the use of every gun on her wall, the chaos is coming and only the strong will survive it, that her daddy loves her more than anything else in the world, and he'll do whatever it takes to keep her with him. I don't think much more happens than that.
I think it's
She might
quite
have to be the
dark.
bravest and most terrifying thing that she's going to do. Something in school with the girls at school. The line between love and pain can be hard to see. Or making a friend can be the bravest and most terrifying thing.
Yeah, I think it might have a lot of abuse in it.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, don't put pictures on books. I hate them.
Okay, so that is the end of part one. We've still got quite a big stash of books here to go through, but we're going to be going to do that over now on Janet's channel. So go and check out her video. I'll have it linked down below. But for now, that's half of the books that we've each bought, and I look forward to seeing you over on Janet's channel in a minute. Bye for now.